A poor boy was born into a poor household and was forced to work at the age of 4. He received very little education. He was deeply interested in engineering at a young age and taught himself everything. Two men from very different backgrounds came together, and their work changed luxury cars forever. Rolls-Royce is a name linked to status and wealth today, but its history is not one of glamour. It is a story of poverty, hard work, and a drive for perfection. How did a poor boy with no formal training build one of the most expensive car brands in the world? Learn how, and if you enjoy good business stories, subscribe to the channel. Henry Royce was born in 1863 in Alwalton, England. He was the youngest of 5 children. His father, James, was a mill owner who had a flour mill, but the business was not good, and the family could hardly make ends meet. Things got even worse in 1867 when the business failed and the Royces went bankrupt. In the hope of beginning a new life, they relocated to London, hoping for a better future, but there was more trouble in store for them. Money was scarce, and the family was just trying to survive. At the age of 4, Henry had his first job as a bird scarer on the local farm, earning just 6 pence a week. While his peers played, he learned tough lessons about life. And then, in 1872, more bad news. His father died. This was very hard, and with no money coming in, the weight was left to the children. At the age of 9, Henry had to work even longer hours. He started selling papers and sending telegrams to help bring food to the family. His youth was not a simple one. He was bullied away from going to school, and at 15, he had only managed 1 year of schooling. But despite a lack of schooling, Henry had something valuable that no one could take away: his never-ending curiosity. He wanted a better life, so he applied for an apprenticeship at the Great Northern Railway Works. His aunt helped cover the costs. He did long day shifts and studied electrical engineering, French and algebra in the evenings. But after 3 years, money problems came up again, and he had to leave before he could complete his training. Without an apprenticeship, Henry had no clear way forward. He worked for a company that made tools in Leeds, then moved to London to work at the Electric Light and Power Company. He gained engineering experience and learned to work with electrical fittings there. At the age of 19, in 1882, he went to Liverpool to continue working with electricity. When Henry was 22, he had a grand vision. He wanted to have his own business. He partnered with his friend and fellow engineer, Ernest Claremont, to begin F.H. Royce and Company. The business produced electrical components such as dynamos and doorbells. Unlike most businesses at the time, Royce focused on quality and precision, values that shaped his entire career. The company grew gradually, and by 1894, the firm began to make electric cranes. During this time, though, Henry found a new passion: cars. Cars were few at the time, regarded as unreliable and too expensive for most people. Yet Henry believed in them. In 1901, he became fascinated by automobiles. He bought an old 2-cylinder Decauville car and began studying how it was built. He quickly noticed problems in its design and believed he could make something better. To other people, automobiles were just machines, but to Henry, there was a chance to improve them. In 1903, he made and designed his first petrol engine, and in 1904, he finished the first Royce 10-horsepower car. In another part of England, another important figure was about to join the story. Charles Stuart Rolls was born in 1877 to a rich family. He was raised in the high-end London suburb of Berkeley Square, the youngest of Lord and Lady Langattock's 3 sons. While Royce had to struggle to earn a living from an early age, Rolls was given everything he wanted. He received a first-class education, first at Eton College and then at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he studied mechanical engineering. As a child, Rolls was interested in machines and engines. At Cambridge, he was the first among his classmates to own a motor car, something most people had never seen before. At the age of 18, he purchased a Peugeot in Paris and soon became famous as an automobile enthusiast. He earned the nickname Dirty Rolls because he was always working on engines. After leaving school in 1898, Rolls briefly worked in railway engineering, but his real passion was cars. In 1903, with money from his father, he started one of Britain's first motor car dealerships, C.S. Rolls and Company. His firm imported and sold cars, mainly from France and Belgium. The business was successful, but Rolls wasn't satisfied. He wanted to sell something truly special, but he couldn't find a car maker in Britain that met his high standards. That changed when he met Henry Royce. Henry Edmonds, a co-owner of Royce's business, bought one of Royce's first cars and was so impressed that he wanted Rolls to see it too. He set up a meeting between the two businessmen in 1904. Rolls was skeptical at first. He was used to 3- and 4-cylinder engines, while Royce's car had only 2 cylinders. But the moment he took it for a drive, he realized this car was different. It handled smoothly, rode well, and had a level of craftsmanship that was rare in the industry. Rolls knew right away that he wanted to be involved. He signed an agreement on the spot. He would sell as many cars as Royce could build. Their partnership officially began, and Rolls-Royce was born. Although they were successful, the two men didn't always get along. Royce, who had been born into a working-class family and taught himself engineering, demanded perfection and focused on quality. Rolls, raised in wealth, loved racing and the excitement of being in the spotlight. Their personalities clashed at times, but their shared goal of making the best cars in the world kept them working together. By 1906, they had officially founded their company, and the Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost was introduced. This 6-cylinder car was a game-changer. It was famous for being reliable, smooth, and incredibly well built. Within a year, it was already known as the best car in the world, and Rolls-Royce became a symbol of automotive excellence. One of the key figures behind their success was Claude Johnson, the company's managing director. Johnson understood the power of branding and made sure that Rolls-Royce wasn't just known for its cars, but also for its prestige. His most famous advertising campaign focused on how quiet and dependable the cars were, helping to build their legendary reputation. The business thrived, but tragedy struck in 1910. Rolls had a daring spirit and loved flying. He was one of the first people to fly across the English Channel and dreamed of making aviation more popular. But during an air show in Bournemouth, his plane crashed. He became the first Briton to die in a flying accident. He was only 32 years old. After Rolls' death, Royce kept the company running. He never compromised on quality and personally inspected the engineering of every car. During World War I, Rolls-Royce expanded into aircraft engines, something Rolls had always wanted to do. Their airplane engines became just as famous as their cars. Royce worked tirelessly for years, and it took a toll on his health. By the 1920s, he was exhausted and in poor condition because he had overworked himself. He died in 1933 at the age of 70. Amazingly, he was still working until the very end. He completed his final engineering drawing just hours before he passed away. What are your thoughts on Rolls-Royce's incredible history? Would you buy one if you could afford it? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more fascinating business stories.